Well, so we have to move on. Government in 2017 started a fight against illegal mining. We all know it's called locally as galamsey. They set up what we just saw on the screen, the Operation Vanguard. It's a joint military task force to ensure that galamseyers are sacked from their various enclaves. And, well, we're here to do some interrogation. So myself, Maps. So Maps, we have to do some discussions on this.
So what we first need to discuss is, let's start with your own assessment of government strategy in fighting galamsey.
Okay, but in the meantime, too, we know that we're with Foster Mofa, and Foster works with Partners of Nature, and they are an NGO. So Partners of Nature Africa, they undertake a lot of things. So we also have Hannah Usu Kranting of Wakam, who would also be joining us on stream. So we'll have great discussions on many things, but just continue and start some discussions.
All right, so let's start with your own assessment of government strategy in fighting galamsey.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, fighting galamsey or artisanal mining, the banding is right, but approach is very wrong. Based on the research that Partners of Nature Africa we have conducted, because if you approach the galamseyers or the illegal miners, they come up with different questions and stuff like that. But it's like they should have let the Operation Vanguard or the security body just surrounding them. Don't take the machines out. Reclaim it before you get out. Because now they should pack off. Now they are out. Now, but the holes and the pits is still there. And it's a death trap. You understand my point? Yeah. Now, the pits, they have just as a death trap, people are dying because of those kind of pits. They have exploited their gold, now they are out. But the pit is there. People are dying. Mosquitoes serve as a habitat for mosquitoes. And that's the problem. But if the government should let maybe the small scale miners or the galamseyers hold on, reclaim then maybe there's a proper mechanism that maybe they will put in place. That's what you have been better.
Well, it looks interesting. So, wasn't there collaboration? Wasn't there stakeholder engagement before government undertook all this? Because you're really NGOs who work in the sector. You do great discussions with the communities and those who undertake the mining. So why do we have it as it is now? Yeah,
the problem or the case is the galamseyers or the small scale mining. A lot of them, like the collaboration or maybe the communication is not all that perfect or maybe excellent. So some of them, they don't even understand the concept that the government said they should stop illegal mining. Some, if you like, they don't even the concept. They don't understand why they should. But they should have proper mechanism, education, so that maybe they know that. But if after exploiting your gold, you have to reclaim the land, do that. Maybe you can plant some trees on it, so that the environment can be saved. But it seems there's no proper mechanism. So sometimes when you engage some of the communities, you ask them, they just come out with different reasons. So we have to sometimes advise them that no. You see, the water, you are destroying the environment, the water bodies, the people are not safe. The people are not safe. Yeah, so that's how the whole thing came out. Yeah, so the people is not all that know the dangers of or the activity that they are doing.
Yeah. Okay, so we know that it's got various impacts. Yeah. So let's start with the land. Okay. Yeah. So we've reclaimed the land. What do we do with it? Okay. For Partners of Nature, after reclamation, we are embarking on a rubber plantation. Okay. Yeah, we have almost about as we are talking, we have about 100,000 seedlings. Okay. At our eastern region and Bukola Ashanti region, that we are after reclaiming, then we are going to plant the rubber. Okay. And the reason of choosing the rubber is if like you choose like a teak or maybe mahogany, it's good. But you know, nowadays the youth, if you say they should go and plant teak for 15, 18 years before maybe they will harvest the teak, the present day youth will tell them, oh, how can I go and plant teak for 15 years before I can generate income out of it? Yeah. But consider rubber. If you plant rubber, 6 years, the rubber is ready.
you are tapping your latex. Tapping of the latex, the youth will, you employ the youth to tap the latex, so it will create employment for the youth. So that's the reason why Partners of Nature, we took upon ourselves that you enter into rubber plantation, so that you can cultivate rubber, so that quickly you save the environment and the community to get some job to do.
Wow. Yeah. That looks quite interesting. We're being joined on Skype and we're streaming Hannah Owusu-Kranting, who is with the Wasa communities affected by mining. So they are just known by the acronym WACAM, so to speak. They're involved in mining. And also we'll be joined by Mr. Joseph Kwam, who is a member of parliament for Manso Nkwanta. And he's been somebody who's been involved in the issue of anti-galamsey fight over the period or over the years. But just continue with your submissions in the meantime. Before we let those join us, we know that there should be a proper program for the deforestation.
Yeah.
So if you're planting trees or seedlings, how do you mainstream that into the national program? Okay.
Partners of Nature is collaborating with forestry, EPA, and NADMO. So after reclaiming, before we reclaim the land, we approach the EPA, because the EPA have the expertise who can do the reclaiming. So we invited them so that they bring the experts, so that after reclaiming, then we contact the forestry, so that they bring the experts, so that after the afforestation, we join together that we do the afforestation. Yeah, that's what we've been doing.
All right. So let's go on stream now and speak to Hannah Owusu-Kranting. Good morning to you, Ms. Owusu-Kranting.
Just a comment. Wakam is the Wakam.
You said Wakam is Wakam?
Wakam, yeah, we used to be Wakam person of community.
Okay, sorry. So Wakam is Wakam. Okay. Now, how involved is Wakam in efforts by government, especially the ministry, to reclaim the lands that have been affected by galamsey activities?
Well, thank you very much. Wakam technically is not involved in reclamation of the land, because if you talk about reclamation, it involves a lot. It's not just a matter of actually what has been excavated. It needs a lot of scientific analysis to test the soil and then make sure that what you are putting back will not pollute groundwater and things like that. Because if you make that mistake by just dumping the waste back into the pit, you have the tendency of polluting groundwater, and that takes thousands of years to rejuvenate the system. So some of these things are not very simple. They are quite technical. It needs a lot of research and then for collective to do that. So Wakam technically we are not involved in reclamation. What we're doing is that we want to point out the importance of collaboration between communities, between the government, the regulators, and all that, to make sure that the concept of I wouldn't want to say illegal mining, because it's quite broad to say illegal. It's not across various spectrums of mining. That polluting the environment because of mining is not a high dividend to the country. And so that's what we do. And then methods of making sure that government work and with especially communities that are the front of it to own the whole struggle of the curbing and illegal operations within the mining sector.
Well, we also have the Member of Parliament for Manso Nkwanta, who is Honorable Joseph Kwam. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, my brother.
Are you very much conversant with the reclamation program of government? If you are, what is it?
Yes. First and foremost, let me use this opportunity to greet your listeners. If you remember, about a year ago, I laid a statement on the floor of Parliament about the need to fight against this illegal mining and develop a strategy that we can use to streamline small-scale mining. And again, the other part of it was about how these lands that has been affected by illegal mining can be reclaimed. These are some of the two things that I was trying my maximum best to push it into the system for it to become a policy so that we can do something about it. For the second one, I will tell you, yes, I'm talking about the reclamation. In my study for my master's up to PhD, centered on reclamation. But again, if you look at the lands that have been destroyed by illegal mining, if you don't do anything about it, of course, in future, it's going to be a trap. It's either going to kill our people, or one way or the other, it's also going to affect productivity, so far as food is concerned. So this time round, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, so far as I am concerned, have initiated something of that sort. And the main thing is that we need to do what is called a pilot. And after the piloting, that is where we can expand it to any part of the country where I'm talking about the affected area, so that we can reclaim them and make sure that the land is being returned to the community for whatever they want to use the land for.
Good morning, Mr. Joseph Kwan. You're speaking to Mapita Sibidi. So my question to you is that what do you think government can first do with these lands after reclaiming them? I mean, obviously there are resources beneath it. So what can we do with the land?
Here, in the case of reclamation and in the case of this illegal mining, we all have to know very well that it involves the community a lot. So first and foremost, we need to do what is called sensitization, right? We need to bring on board some stakeholders. And those people involved are the government, the chiefs, the opinion leaders, those people within the community. We need to know exactly what they want to use the land for after reclamation. Now, to many people, when we say reclamation, to them they feel that we need to use the land to plant trees or whatever. Reclamation in its totality is not about that. Reclamation in its totality is to get in the land back. But after the end use, that is the purpose. Depends on what the community wants to use it for.
Okay. So, for example, there are some concerns that the land is really unsafe, especially for...
Sorry, can you please come again?
Okay, so there are concerns that the land is really unsafe, right?
It's really unsafe.
Unsafe.
Unsafe?
Yes, unsafe.
Okay.
Yeah, so now, like for example, with agriculture, due to the chemicals that some of the miners use, if we want to use the lands for agriculture, how do we go about that?
Sometimes if people put it that way, I don't buy that idea. Because the purpose of reclamation is to make sure that anywhere that you want to do reclamation, you need to do what is called baseline reconnaissance of that particular area. Over there, what you need to do is to make sure that you test the soil. In testing the soil, it's not only about the soil, the heavy metals in the soil. You also have to make sure that the area which has been sprouted with plants, I mean, after the mining, you see some plants coming up there. You need to take some of the plants, do a bioassay to know the heavy metals that has been absorbed by these plants. When you are done with that, there you also have to test what is called acid mine drainage, because it is believed that when you are doing this mining, it's going to create some sort of acid. Now, with this, it can be corrected. Basically, what you can use to correct is just the normal compost. It's not, because here we are talking about pH, we are talking about acidity. But anything that you can even use lime in correcting that anomaly, potash in correcting that anomaly. But you need to do the baseline test to know the level of contamination. That is the very first thing that you have to do. Then the next thing that you have to do is to do what is called the normal way that people are aware of, backfilling. And the reclamation that you are going to do will depend on the level of contamination. And that's how you can correct the land to get it back, to do whatever you want to do. For instance, if you look at in the world of science, previously they were reclaiming land for 15 to 20 years. But nowadays, reclamation is supposed to gear towards improving the soil. And when the soil is improved, the next line of action is as what you want the land to be used for. So you can only use even maize, a common maize. Most maize have a short life cycle. It's sensitive to impoverished soil. So when you use maize, plant on the land that's reclaimed, if it is good, you can see the maize performing very well. And that is a clear indication that you've gotten your land back. But again, sometimes lots of people make it in such a way that there are a whole lot of heavy metals in the system, which will make the land contaminated. And as such, you cannot plant food on it. Look, I have done extensive research in that. After every research, what you need to do is to go to atomic energy. I'm talking about in Ghana here we have atomic energy. It's one of the source of environmental Ministry of Environment. When you go there, they will test the food that you have produced to see the level of contamination and compare it to the World Health Organization standards. And if they do that and it is okay, the food can be consumed.
Well, thank you very much. And we've been speaking to the MP for Manson Kwanta, who has been giving us his own input on this. But let's also stay on the line as we're joined by Kwabena Mintah Kando. He's a member of parliament for Dwaposo. He's with the Parliament Committee on Lands and Forestry. And you're well versed in the issues as well. The way that you have been briefed by the ministry to undertake the reclamation, is that the best way we have to undertake it? Good morning to you, Mr. Mintah Kando.
Hello, Chief. Yes, hello.
This is Roland, sir.
Yes, sir, Roland.
Okay, okay. The way I hope that you've been briefed by the ministry as to how land reclamation after galamsey will be undertaken.
Well, Roland, we have been in the efforts of reclamation. It's not as if we have as some kind of reclamation. You know, in mining, the companies or the firms are bound to reclaim their lands after mining. And the main purpose for the reclamation is to be able to reuse the land.
Okay.
You understand? To reduce the destruction to the environment. In some cases, crops are planted on those areas after the reclamation. Crops are planted on those areas for the indigenous in the area. So the main purpose for reclamation is one, for the land to be beneficial, for it to be reused by the people in the area. That is the main reason. And every miner has that kind of, if you like, plan. If you are going to take the license from the Minerals Commission or the Ministry,
Mr. Kando, we do understand what the regular mining companies are supposed to do, but we're talking about those who are mining illegally, galamsey. So at the end of the day, they just destroy the land and go. And after we've sacked them off or perhaps evicted them, then we have to reclaim those lands. The government is supposed to have a certain program outline to reclaim the land. How should we go about it? Are we satisfied with the way the ministry wants to undertake it? That's the whole question.
You know, if you ask my opinion, because I've not listened to your program this morning, I was just called to 8 and
that's okay.
I'm supposed
that's
to
okay.
contribute.
That's
but then,
okay.
if you ask my opinion, if we want to do effective work, we have to decentralize the whole thing. If government has any money to pump into this particular thing, I will humbly suggest that we will have to decentralize it, take it to the district assembly. They know which areas has been destroyed, and then it could even serve as employment for the people in the area. You understand? We have national youth employment and all that. If we think that we have some equipment that we can engage to go and reclaim the land, let's get those local people on board so that it will not be a rush thing. That look, you go to one area, District A, and you are supposed to spend only 1 day or 2 days because there's pressure to move from area A to area B, and good work is not done. At the end of the day, we will not achieve the purpose. Because whether the land is destroyed legally or illegally, what is important is that we must reclaim the land for the land to be beneficial or for us to be able to use the land again.
But if it's decentralized,
my opinion on this matter.
If it's decentralized, how do we do proper coordination then?
Oh, that is really where we have proper coordination. Because you decide whatever way you want to handle it. You want the disassembly to handle it. Yes, if you want the disassembly to handle it, all other agencies at the disassembly will come on board. You understand? The NACO will come on board, the police can come on board.
And all the other relevant agencies.
Exactly, would all come on board. And that is where, because they are in the district, even if you take them 1 year to do proper work, they are there, and it's their environment. It will not be a rush.
All right.
That you have a team going and moving from one area to the area with specific timelines. I don't think that we may achieve the purpose.
All right, thank you very much. Kwabena Mintah Kando, Member of Parliament for Dwaposo. He is with Parliament Lands and Natural Resources or Forestry Committee, so to speak. But we have to wrap up.
Yeah, so before we wrap up, the latest extractive industry report. I'm sure you've seen it. What stood out for you?
For the report, there's a question mark on it. Yeah, because there's a lot of underground work or baseline survey they have to do redo again. Because as, when the community is not, don't know what the harm or maybe what is going to cause them.
That's the effect.
Effects, yes. Yeah. So they have to redo it again. That's my opinion. Yeah, opinion. Yeah, and they have to go to the grassroots to let those who have been affected to come out with their opinion too, so that based on that, they can tackle the problem as it will suit the whole.
Do you think that it's only tree planting and all those other things that could help in the reclamation process? Because you work with the community.
Yes,
people.
yes, okay. After the reclamation, you see, the land needs to be tested as the MP just. But a lot of the lands, the galamsey people, only the mud that they have been using, they are not using those kind of cyanide and stuff like that. Because some of them, they just enter the bush, they just exploiting so that land, if you after reclaiming, you can do all the activities like tree planting, and you can intercrop it with maybe maize or pepper and stuff like that. And we have been tried it, and it's doing well.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, we have tried it, and it's doing well, yeah.
All right, so thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Foster Amofa, Partners of Nature Africa.